Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. So let's have a chat about the Fed, cars, and interest rates. And I want to show you some headlines. They've been all over the map, and let's jump right in. Here's December 14th. Federal Reserve triggers market rally as it signals interest rate cuts in 2024. Moreover, December 13th, Fed holds rates steady, indicates 3 cuts coming in 2024. We also have on just 7 hours ago, investors ditched notion that interest rates will stay higher for longer. So essentially, you have all these people out there saying, "Hey guys, everything's awesome because the Fed's going to be cutting." But here's the funny thing: is for real, Fed's Williams douses Wall Street's rate cut speculation. So he's like, "Hey." We didn't do anything, and where are you getting these ideas? And moreover, here's another headline: Fed official says central bank isn't really talking about rate cuts. So I want to show you some data on this. We actually have the dot plot. And if you know what this is, essentially you ask different members of the Fed, hey, where do you think rates are going to be? What's your projections, etc. And this is what it is. So not everyone's going to have the same exact projections. That's why you have different dots all over the map. But this gives you a general ballpark. So for example, as you can see this in 2025, and actually I can circle it here. One person's like, you know what? Rates are going to stay the same, around the 5% mark. Even in 2024, there's a couple people say, hey, you know what? Rates are going to stay the same. There's only really one person that's like, hey, they're going to be, maybe a little bit under 4% or around 4%, right? Everyone else seems to be sort of in the 4 to 5% range for 2024. And then 2025, they're thinking, okay, maybe we're going to try to get rates down below 4. You guys can see this for yourself. And then longer term, they're going to stay above 2. So this idea that we're going to go back to the zero, rate environment and to start printing money in the punch bowl, maybe not necessarily, but I mean, you never know in the future. You just don't know. But I'm just want to show you guys sort of why people are saying, hey, maybe 3 cuts, etc. But don't necessarily think we're going to go to 0. The thing is, if you're serious about fighting inflation, you do need to keep rates higher for longer. Moreover, you need to be sucking money out of the system, not just pumping money into the system. The other thing too, which I want to go over with you guys as well, is that there's a lot of consumers that are really struggling out there. And there's something that's really important in terms of interest rates is actually car loans. You read the headline here: underwater car loans signal U.S. consumers slammed by high rates. Basically, if you're underwater in your loan, it means that you borrowed money to buy a car. The car goes down in value, or interest rates go up so that your loan just basically balloons, or maybe you stop payments or whatever. But basically, your loan is larger than the value of your car. And there's a lot of people in this situation right now in the USA. In fact, people who are underwater, the average amount they're underwater is about like $6,000, kind of in that range. Moreover, I want to talk with you about this because this is something that people don't talk enough about. I completely get it, and if I make a video on Cybertruck on this channel and we talk about Teslas, this kind of stuff, people are all excited about, they hate the Tesla, they love the Tesla, etc. But I like to just show you guys data and numbers. That's why I just showed you the dot plot of sort of like, okay, let's say the Fed does cut whatever, how much can we expect, when, etc. And I just showed you kind of an estimates for what they're saying, so you can just look at the numbers for yourself. So don't get too excited, don't get over hyped, these kind of things. Moreover, when we're talking about car loans, what people don't talk about enough is how much does a car depreciate, right? It's an important factor because this is something that happens when you buy a new car, you drive it off the lot. You can't actually sell it back for what you bought it for. That's a pretty typical thing. Now, theoretically, you could if you just negotiated like crazy, but generally they don't let you drive it off the lot unless they come out ahead. That's just how it is. There's this really fascinating list here. These are the top 25 vehicles with the highest 5-year depreciation. So meaning that you buy this thing, it goes down in value within 5 years, right? So number 1 on the list is actually the Maserati. This is the Quattroporte, I guess, and it goes down 64,000. No, I'm sorry, 64.5%. It's actually more than 64,000. The difference from the value compared to the essentially retail or MSRP is 90,588. So that's a lot of depreciation. BMW 7 Series, they go down about 61%. Another Maserati is on the chart here. It goes down 61%. So you can see another BMW, 58%. There's a Cadillac Escalade goes down in value, 58%. And these are all popular cars. And one of the things I want you to understand is that, yes, it's cool to be the cool kid in the block, get that 7 Series, right? You're awesome and stuff like that. but you're losing a heck of a lot of money on this depreciation stuff. And I understand, right? If you want to show off money and you want to say, you know what, I got money to burn, etc., you can totally do that. But it's not really great financial decision making in this situation to be buying cars that go down in value. I just want to show you guys numbers again. Here's more. BMW X5 goes down 58%. Infiniti QX80 down 58.1%. Maserati Levante, so you notice a theme here, down 57%. The Audis, the A7 and the Q7, they both go down about 56%. Cadillac Escalade 56.5. So I guess the other Cadillac was the ESV. That must be like an electric one or something. I'm not familiar with the difference between the ESV and the I guess plain one. And if you guys are, please let me know in the comments. But they do both go down in value. The Audi A6 goes down in value 56.3. Volvos lose their value. The S90 goes down 55.8. Nissan Armada, I'm not familiar with that model, but that goes down 55.7. BMW Benz S-Class goes down 55.7. Lincoln Navigator goes down, and that's the L, goes down 55%. Mercedes-Benz GLS, 55%. Tesla Model S goes down 55%. BMW, was a lot of BMWs on this chart. I guess they don't hold their value. Goes down 55%. BMW X5 down 54. Lincoln Navigator down 54. BMW X5 54. Land Rover, Range Rover 53. And then the Cadillac XT5 down 53. So if any of you own any of these vehicles on this list, these are the top 25 vehicles that go down in value, right? Depreciation. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Now, moreover, they actually separate this out by EVs. And again, we're talking about this stuff because I generally like to buy assets that go up in value. Now, cars pretty much all go down in value. They all depreciate. But some will depreciate more than others. So I tend to not want to be the ones that are going to like lose all their value. Not so great, right? Because you're not only are you buying something that's going to require maintenance. It could break. You could crash it. Any number of things can happen. You could scratch it. Someone could scratch it for you, not in a nice way. But they also go down in value. So you do want to pay attention to stuff. And I was saying, a lot of times people just kind of ignore these things. Moreover, if you are borrowing money to buy a car with interest rates elevated, you're going to be paying more than the sticker price because you got a loan on said thing. So I always say this over and over again: buy cars with cash. Moreover, which is not crazy advice, is buy cars that don't depreciate in value. I know it's such crazy advice, right? But the funny thing is, if you pay attention to social media and things like that, I mean, they'll be like, hey guys, you got to get that 7 Series, you got to get that Maserati, Cadillac Escalade, etc. I know Escalades are really popular. I know they are. I'm not sure like something like a Jaguar XF is popular or not. I'm just not sure. I don't see a lot on the road. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, on if they are popular or not. But in terms of EVs, the one that depreciates, so I think this is in the positive one. So the Tesla Model 3 is the best one in terms of depreciation. It goes down 42%. The Model X, 49, Nissan Leaf, 50, Chevrolet Bolt EV, that's 51, and the Tesla Model S is 55. So that'd be your worst one in terms of depreciation. So we looked at the cars that depreciate, lose their value the most. Now look at the ones that actually hold their value. So this is actually surprising. I'm not in the market for this stuff. I just don't like Porsches, but I'm just being perfectly fair. Porsches hold their value according to this. So the Porsche 911 depreciation is only 9.3%. The Porsche 718, they came in at 17.6%. And I should qualify why I don't care for the Porsches that much. I've driven them actually. To me, they're small and they're loud, and then they're just not that practical. So if you like Porsches, more power to you, but just not my thing for in terms of ownership. And it's not really a primary car. I think it's more probably your second or third car kind of thing. So, and who knows? I guess in terms of I'm just looking at numbers. In terms of buying a car, I guess they're pretty good. They hold their value. So, hey, you know what? Maybe I've been doing my life all wrong. It's a joke. But I will say though, it's interesting. A lot of people in our community actually have the Toyota Tacomas. That's number 3 on this list, and they're saying here average depreciation is about 20%. So all cars are going to go down in value, right? But some, will be better than others. The Jeep Wrangler, this is actually surprising to me. The average depreciation, 20%. Again, this is over 5 years. Honda Civic, number 5, 21%. Subaru BRZ, 21%, or sorry, 23%. Chevrolet Camaro is also an interesting one. Some of these kind of muscle cars, that is a 24% depreciation. The Toyota CHR, I don't even know what that is actually. I don't know all these cars on this list. I know a lot of them, but not necessarily every single one. 24%. Subaru Crosstrek, 24%. Toyota Corolla, 24%. Ford Mustang also holds its value, 24%. Another Porsche on the list, the 718, 25% again. This is depreciation, so you want lower numbers with this stuff. You don't want higher numbers here. Toyota Tundra, 25%. Kia Rio 5-door, 25%. Porsche 911, that's the convertible one, 26%. Honda HR-V, 26%. Subaru Impreza, the wagon one, 26%. We're talking about, again, depreciation here. Kia Rio, so the first one was the 5-door. I'm just going to assume it's going to probably either be a 2-door or a 4-door. 26%. Chevrolet Spark, 26%. Toyota RAV4, and I know people in our community have that car. That's because I've seen people mention it. So it holds their value, it looks like, better than most. 27% Hyundai Accent, 27%. Toyota 4Runner, 27%. Chevrolet Corvette, 27%. Nissan Kicks, I don't even know what that Kicks, I haven't heard of that. 27%, and the Subaru Impreza, 27%. So again, these are the cars that hold their value. And you can pause the video, you can look at this, but it's just really interesting to consider, and you can compare it to the cars that lose their value. And, just from a general financial perspective, it's not crazy to say, guys, when you're out shopping for a car, again, I'll repeat, pay cash. It's not crazy to say, hey, when you're out shopping for a car, look for cars that have reasonable maintenance, right? Look for cars that aren't always in the shop. And I have or have had, or have, however you want to say it, doesn't matter. I've talked to mechanics, let's put it that way, that say essentially when you drive by, auto repair shops, etc., look to see which cars are in the shop all of the time. Yeah, and you'll see patterns. Also, too, you can actually read reports on this kind of stuff, consumer reports. One of the things that I will mention, I think is important, generally speaking, when a car comes out for the first time, usually the first, you could say maybe 3 years aren't so great, usually around maybe year 4. And for those of you guys who love cars, you may have a different opinion on this, but I would generally say around year 4, they start to get pretty good. In terms of like reliability, their build quality, these kind of things. And that's not all cars get good, because some cars are just not going to be reliable no matter what you do. But point being is like, if a car is just coming off the assembly line and you're getting like car number 1, the first one ever built, there's a high chance it's not going to be as good as in later years. There have been many sort of hype vehicles that have come in my day. And usually that first line always has problems. I understand it's cool to be the first kid on the block to have said toy, but when it comes to vehicles, that's just a pattern that I've seen. I've also, know how it is, guys, to where you see, you watch your favorite sporting events or whatever shows you like on TV, and they're always bombarding you with, you got to get a new car, etc. The thing is, it's so fascinating with cars is that they sort of try to appeal to your reptile brain and try to like sell you something as being sexy and cool. And they want you to buy things with your emotions, essentially. That's what this whole game is all about. And the reason why, I do things the way that I do in this channel, and hopefully why you enjoy being in this community, is I want you to get used to looking at these kind of numbers, right? Where there's no emotions involved, there's no pictures involved. I'm just looking at numbers on depreciation, right? And so for me, just from a practical perspective, when I make these kind of purchases or make any decisions financially, I just say, hey, what makes the most financial sense? What's the car that's going to hold the value? What's the car that I can easily afford, not stress out about? What's the car that's not going to have like maintenance all the time, be in the shop, going to be broken, these kind of things. And I read all the reviews and try to find things that are neutral, and again, try to remove emotion out of it. And the more you can do these kind of things and ways of sort of thinking about money and your choices in life, you're going to do much better, and you won't just be like swinging back and forth and making bad decisions all the time. If you watch social media, you watch YouTube, very few people will mention something like this, right? They're just going to talk about the hottest car, they're so hot and all the girls love them, etc. It's usually dudes. I don't know how many girl car channels out there. I think, and girls like cars. They do. I won't say girls don't like cars. Girls buy cars the same way boys buy cars. So I'm just saying, I'm not sure in terms of like social media if girls are all pumping cars the way that boys are. Who knows? Maybe they are. I don't watch these kind of channels anyway. I show you guys this kind of stuff, and I know it's not fun and sexy, but I think it's practical and smart. And I think if you want to have a sustainable and a solid future, you want to start thinking in this kind of way. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on any one of these cars on this list. Do you have any experience with these things? Would you agree or disagree from your experience? I say, hey, yes, I bought, said car. It holds its value. And I'd love to hear from the Porsche fans out there. I'm not going to advocate buying Porsches. I guess I would advocate selling it, right? But because I think there's other issues with Porsche, be it your insurance or poor gas mileage, this kind of stuff. But obviously, if you're buying a Porsche, you're not thinking about that stuff. You're thinking about how cool you are. But to be fair, if you are going to buy a sports car, I guess that would be the one to get. It's funny, we're talking about practicality, but we're kind of veering towards Porsche. However, if you do look at the list, though, it is dominated by a few brands, right? You see a lot of Toyotas on there, Kias on there. I was actually surprised to see some Chevrolets on there, but you would want to, again, just remove emotion out of it completely and just say, hey, if I'm going to compare, this is just one metric, depreciation, do look at other metrics, be it your maintenance, gas mileage, wear and tear, how expensive are tires, parts, these kind of things, and this is sort of how you do well for yourself. So anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these things. I always appreciate your time, and I'll catch you next video.